The focus of the Trust over the past 25 years was to continue bridging the sporting gap and providing sporting facilities in rural communities where these youngsters would have just as much opportunity to develop their sporting skills as those living in the cities. We interview Andy Scott, the former Chief Operations Officer, and Alastair, the former Chairman of the Trust, who reflect on their roles and how they were able to ensure that projects continued to be funded, sustainable and of sound management.
Sport really does begin at grassroots, and there's been a lot of lip service from many organisations as to the way we've treated real sport development in South Africa. But I think the one thing that the Sports Trust can really put its hand on its heart to say that they've stuck true to their promise, and they've tried through some tough times over 25 years.
For any company, it's exceptionally important to have a CSI program and to make sure that they have whatever surplus funds they might have, or funds that they are budgeting to put into CSI, that they're getting it into the right areas. And I think that's critical where the Sports Trust comes in. Entertainment was fundamentally a part of Sun International's makeup, and we felt that we needed a vehicle that was made it easy for us to be able to channel money into those sort of different disciplines, and that it got to the right places, to the right people, and it benefited people that were previously disadvantaged.
I think when you're dealing with any situation that's kind of out of the norm, and I refer to my time with dealing with sport for people with disabilities, I knew at the time that it wasn't really a marketable entity because of the perception. And I knew that I had to change the mindsets from donations to true sponsorship. And I've always described them for what it's worth. Is a donation is technically a one-night stand as opposed to a marriage. You know, the sponsorship, there's a give and a take situation where the sponsor is believing in you, and you need to deliver in terms of the promises that were originally made to that sponsor.
The driving force behind cricket development in this area of the Eastern Cape over the past 30 years has been advocate Ngumbela. It has produced notable talent such as Mkwekaya Nabe, Cape Cobras, and former SA cricketer Makaya Ntini.
He saw that the cricket in the rural areas was not being played, and that the youngsters were busy with alcohol, drugs, and all the wrong things. And then in 1989, he decided to bring the cricket home. So he would come back from Transkei, which is where he works in Iduchwa, and he would bring cricket in the villages.
My vision, when I bought this ground, when I come back from Cape Town for the Christmas, I found out people now, in Christmas time we are playing. But when I come back, I find out, no, there's no more cricket here. All these people are staying on a shebeen, drinking. I said, this is not right. I have to do something about it. First thing what we have done, we level it. No, we put, as you can see, the wall. After the walls, we did level it to make it straight. And what I say to them, gentlemen, this ground, it must be a standard ground, 75 by 75. There's no such thing that, hey, this side is shorter, this side is right, this part. I said to them, this ground, it must be better than even cricket South African ground, because some are not 175 by 175.
When I go to East London and watch the groundsmen preparing their pitch there, I become enthusiastic and ask the way they are doing things, and then I come and learn my fellow workers here.
These guys who are here as leaders of sport in this area, they know what we decided on, that it has to be a commitment from them to try and assist these youngsters Some of them do not have parents. Some of them, they have got single parents. We have to be parents and assist them. Take them to the game. Take them onto your car to show them what is happening at Buffalo Park in East London. That is the way to encourage them.
Advocate Ngumbela continues to inspire and encourage the youth to participate in the development sport of cricket, giving them a sense of purpose and an opportunity to better their talents.
Formula in the days working with the great Bruce Fordyce was we don't make much money, but we have a lot of fun. And a lot of that fun and hard work, I might add, was put into the fundraising initiatives. The Corporate Sports Trust Quiz, which really has been a hit and probably the longest standing fundraiser. It is really well run. There's some great prizes and great camaraderie when you see the corporates getting involved, and we're a sport crazy nation, and it's a particularly good evening.
Sport was a fundamental form of driving the business. We started organising the Nedbank or the Sports Trust Golf Challenge, which was on the Monday, straight after the Nedbank Golf Challenge. And what happened was that amateur golfers got the opportunity to play the golf course exactly the way it was set up on the Sunday of the event. The course was at its absolute pristine best. The greens were slick as hell, and it was an unusual experience playing off the very back tees of the golf course at that particular time for these amateurs, and many amateurs came and tried and found it exceptionally frustrating playing so far back, not even being able to get to the fairways. But I think what it did was it made people also realize just how good the professionals were.
In the Valley of 1,000 Hills in Kwa Zulu Natal, this popular pastime is both a sport and a way of getting around for the youth, and has provided skills training and coaching opportunities.
So it was my realization skating the world that we didn't have anything in South Africa that would attract international skaters to say, hey, come check this place out. And that's all I really wanted to create with my vision for the skate camp, was to say, here's something that's in the natural bush within an African community that's just so raw and real, and that just says to skateboarding made this happen. Skateboarding brought people together, and that's the story I wanted to tell with the Indigo Skate Camp. We even took skateboarding to South African Sports Awards, where we were awarded the best recreational sporting body. So this was our agenda, was to create a facility that could showcase the ability of skateboarding. It's a livelihood for many people. It's a sense of identity, and yes, people that are in the facility feel connected to the global world of skateboarding. And I think that's such a beautiful thing about skateboarding, that it's such an integrated community through social media. Somehow I always knew I could reach out to Sports Trust. It was at a time when skateboarding hadn't been acknowledged. And I just knew it would come right. And I just knew how you guys knew we were on the money by taking skateboarding to where it had never been taken before. And I think, and I thank you guys for understanding the potential for skateboarding and all sports, and really being that open to the possibilities of skateboarding, which was just years and years ahead of its time. And I thank you to Sports Trust for seeing skateboarding, knowing now it's going to the Olympics. You trusted skateboarding over 20 years ago. So I think that's fantastic that our forward-thinking the Sports Trust were in acknowledging skateboarding such a long time ago.
My real interest in the Sports Trust was sport. As a kid, it played a huge amount in my life. I mean, I was a kid with a disability. I was quite a driven kid. I had a fairly tough childhood. But when I found my way into sport, and primarily through swimming, I realized that it unlocks doors and it gives you opportunities. It gave me my independence. It allowed me to compete against able-bodied swimmers on a equal as far as the water goes level, and making people rethink this thing and recognize them for their ability as opposed to their disability.
Doing it through the Sports Trust was the right way, because we had the manpower and we had the people with the know-how, that firstly, that the money was spent according to a budget. The money was not been filtered or channeled into the wrong areas. So we knew what the costs were associated. We knew that those costs were realistic. The work was done, but what was also done, that we had done due diligence on the community and the people in that community, and knew that they would sustain those facilities afterwards, and they would be used properly and not just be kind of turned to rubble eventually.
In 2006, the Sports Trust donated table tennis equipment to the Mpumalanga Table Tennis provincial structure. And since then, it has introduced over 500 boys and girls to this sport. And Sibusiso Mkhwanazi is the only student from Ermelo to represent South Africa in the Zone 6 games.
The donation that we received from Sports Trust has helped us a lot. In the first place, it has improved the attitude of learners towards table tennis.
Growing up in my communities, abantu abaningi babhema, baphuza, badla idakamizwa, and abalala emizigangeni, abalala emakhaya ngenxa yedakamizwa, abalaleli.
The department has ensured that the sport grows in the communities and also in schools by capacitating the educators in order to make sure that now all the learners participate in the sport code.
I feel excited, because there are many players and different people from different provinces, I can say, and seeing many people in this sport, it makes me excited, I can say. And by today, I would show all my power and how to inspire and make others learn from us.
My highlights from table tennis have been, since I've been a player, is that we're playing for World Championships myself. I also played for World Championships. I got a bronze medal, and my team also won a silver medal in the national table tennis.
My matches for the youth, kumele sidlale, sibe ne-trust, sithembe for ukuthi vele sifuna ukudlala, siphumelele entweni eningi, sidlale. Sifocus ukuba sports, because sports are very important in life.
I am probably a living example of the importance and the role that sport can play in a person's life, and I always wanted to put something back, and the Sports Trust gave me that opportunity for 3 glorious years to be able to do that. I think the Sports Trust has stayed true to itself. There is a relevance, and I'd really like to wish them well on their 25th anniversary. It's a fantastic birthday. They've done some great work, and may that great work continue, and may they be supported.
Our reward is seeing the youth actively enjoying sport and achieving their dreams. We are proud to have created a brand that is synonymous with sport development. In our next episode, we interview Greg Garden and Rob Fleming, the former chairman of the Trust, and how they continue to advance its vision of enhancing education through sport.
The gratitude, the impact that it made into communities that have nothing.
There's a huge body of research across the globe that demonstrates the huge impact sport has on the impact of education.
On the 11th of October 2020, the Sports Trust virtual cycle race will take place for Piketberg. Have you entered and make a difference in the community of Piketberg? Enter online, ride 5Ks, 20Ks, 50Ks or 108Ks. Mountain bike it, road bike it, families together, whatever gets you going. Get out there and do it for the Sports Trust and the community of Piketberg.
Entry fee is 50 Rand per person. Terms and conditions apply. And please, adhere to your COVID-19 protocols at the time of the challenge.